I prophesy to you today that if you apply for that office and they say there is no position for you, there is no space for you, God will create a space for you in that organization. Miracle that has never happened to anybody before. You will be the first person to enter the corridor of such a miracle in the name that is above every other name, because it is strange liftings.
Thank you for joining us for another series on Revelation for Elevation. The Word of God is power. On this channel, you are guaranteed to be blessed, challenged, and elevated by the undiluted Word of God. The messages delivered by Reverend Augustine Momo will certainly enrich your spiritual journey. If you are new to this channel, hit the subscribe button and turn on that notification bell so that you can be notified of new messages each week. Remember to like the message you're about to listen to and share it with a friend for their elevation. Blessings.
Revelation for elevation. The Word of God is power. This week, we are continuing on the subject, strange liftings, strange elevation, strange liftings. It's not a common one. It's not an ordinary kind. It's a land-breaking, landmarks, miracle or blessing. Let me move on here quickly. Now, for the past 2 weeks, I've been trying to explain the first phrase in Genesis 45 verse 8 that says, now it wasn't you that sent me. He said it was God that sent me. Let me leave that and move to the next phrase that says, and that same God that sent him, he said, God has made me a father to Pharaoh. Remember, we are saying it's a strange lifting. Why is it a strange lifting? Strange in the sense that, remember that when he was sold to Egypt, he worked in Potiphar's house. He was in Potiphar's house as a servant, as an houseboy. Potiphar's wife loved him, tempted him. He refused the temptation. But today, because of what happened to him in Potiphar's house, he was sent to the prison. Out of the prison, he came to the palace. And he was now telling his brothers, listen here, it is God who sent me, and God has made me a father to Pharaoh. Now, Pharaoh is the father of Potiphar. Are you understanding me now? So if Joseph is the father of Pharaoh or father to Pharaoh, is more than being a father to Potiphar, his own boss. He is a father to the boss of Potiphar. That is strange liftings. He was Potiphar's house boy, cleaner, boy they set on errand. When God lifted him, God moved him. Not just father to Pharaoh, he became the father to Pharaoh's father, which is, he became father to Potiphar's father, which is Pharaoh. I beg your pardon, Pharaoh. That is how God does his own things in mysterious way. Very mysterious. Nobody, in fact, the position or the post that is called prime minister was not in Egypt. It was created because of Joseph. I prophesy to you today that if you apply for that office and they say there is no position for you, there is no space for you, God will create a space for you in that organization. Miracle that has never happened to anybody before. You will be the first person to enter the corridor of such a miracle in the name that is above every other name, because it is strange liftings, because it's a lifting that cannot be explained. It's a lifting that your academic prowess and qualification cannot get you that. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about, oh, I'm a degree holder, and then I got a job. No. I mean an office that your qualification cannot take you into. A position that your abilities cannot carry you into. That's what I'm talking about. A better word would be what we call unmerited favor. It's not by merit. No, not by merit. Joseph never merited being a prime minister in Egypt. Pharaoh told him, there is nobody who has wisdom like you. He said, because of that, I'm going to create an office for you to oversee, to steward activities on a daily basis in Egypt. Yet it's an Israelite. Imagine you becoming, as a Jamaican, as a Nigerian, as a South African, whatever by God's divine providence, you somehow you were installed as the president of United States of America. You know that's not possible, but with God, that is possible. I know, as I'm saying this now, some of you will be saying, what do you mean? But that is what we call it, strange liftings. If Joseph can enter the corridor of power in Egypt and sat on the highest throne in Egypt, just one step below Pharaoh, what are you talking about? Who told you it's not possible to make it in that office? Who told you it's not possible that you cannot be the chief executive officer of that your company? Who told you it's not possible? Who told you it's not? Who told you where you are is where you are going to die? Who told you that? God can make you a father to your boss. Yes, man. God can turn the table around and you become the number one in that office. You become the number one in that church. You become the number one in that community. You become number one in that in wherever you find yourself. It could be in your academic career. It could be in whatever. Just think about it. Name it. And the God of heaven, who cannot lie, will bring it to pass in your life. I have experienced strange liftings in my life. I have. I have. I tell you this, I pastor in Jamaica, and I've been living on this island for the past 16 years. God has been good to me. I tell you the truth. God has done some things that if I sit back to want to take an inventory and do some analysis of how the great monarch showed up for me in my darkest time, oh my God, it can only be God. It can only be God. Joseph was not just a prime minister in Egypt or a father to Pharaoh. God told him, you are going to be ruler throughout all Egypt. In fact, the Bible says he was teaching the senators. He was there, nobody lifted their head in Egypt without the command of Joseph. That's what God wants to do for you. Don't trap yourself in one small cocoon and think that is all life I've got to offer for you. Don't dream small, dream big. Don't think God, don't limit the Holy One of Israel. Don't limit him. The future that God has got for you, the devil cannot stop it. The devil cannot stand it, and there is nothing he can do about it. If Joseph experienced strange lifting in a strange land, then you know God is in the neighborhood, and that same kind of miracle is also possible in your life. I want you to know that. I want you to know that. The God of heaven says, I'm not going to leave you comfortless. You go through waters, high water, through fire, I'm going to be with you. But those things they are supposed to be building up your character. making you to be the best that you can. Next week, I will begin to tell you, if you are gonna experience strange lifting, then you must dream it. You must go to God and get your dream. Just like Joseph here dreamt. He dreamt 2 times. And that dream, those 2 dreams was the beginning of his disaster with his brother. Please join me next week as we continue to look into the perfect law of liberty. God bless you. See you next week.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Revelation for Elevation. We trust that you were edified by the message. Here, we are a community and we would love to hear from you and pray with you on your spiritual journey with Christ. You may contact Reverend Augustine Momo and submit your prayer request to revelation4elevation23@gmail.com. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel and follow us on all social media platforms at Revelation for Elevation. Stay tuned for another empowering message, and until then, stay blessed.